Creating a meaningful connection with someone, even if they don't seem interested at first, is about understanding social dynamics, maintaining self-assurance, and approaching interactions with confidence. Many people misinterpret initial hesitation as outright rejection, when in reality, it's often a way of assessing how someone carries themselves. Confidence and a relaxed presence make a strong first impression. If you approach someone with the mindset that their approval is needed, it shifts the energy in a way that can create pressure. Instead, focus on having a natural and engaging conversation where both sides have the opportunity to connect. The key is to avoid overanalyzing the situation. Many people believe they need the perfect words to make an impression, but in reality, the way something is said, through tone, body language, and overall presence, matters far more. A calm and collected approach naturally sets the right tone. Something simple and direct like, "You seemed interesting, so I wanted to come say hi," keeps things light and open-ended. From there, it's important to stay composed, regardless of the response. Some people take time to warm up in conversations, and maintaining an easygoing attitude helps keep the interaction comfortable. This approach shifts the dynamic in a way that builds curiosity and creates a natural flow of conversation. That's exactly what this video will cover: how to create engaging interactions, spark genuine interest, and allow connections to develop naturally, even when someone isn't immediately receptive. Before we continue, I have something valuable for those who want to improve their social and relationship skills. I've built a community on Podium where I break everything down step by step, providing practical tools to enhance confidence and create meaningful connections. It's all clear, straightforward advice that you can apply in real situations. Plus, for a limited time, the first 20 people to join will receive a special discount. Don't miss out. Click the link in the description to secure your spot. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, feel free to share it with them. 1. Having the right mindset is essential when it comes to making a strong impression. Confidence isn't just appealing. It's a key factor in how connections are formed. When someone carries themselves with certainty and self-assurance, it naturally draws others in. On the other hand, if you approach an interaction with hesitation or the need for validation, it can create an imbalance where one person is placed on a pedestal. The best approach is to shift your mindset from, "I hope they like me," to "let's see if we connect." A common mistake is trying too hard to gain approval. Overcompensating, over-explaining, or focusing too much on pleasing someone can sometimes have the opposite effect. Instead, it's important to maintain a balanced perspective, showing through your attitude and presence that you have value, regardless of how someone responds. If someone seems indifferent at first, it's not necessarily a rejection, it could simply be a natural reaction to new interactions. Staying composed and not reacting emotionally allows the conversation to develop naturally. If they give short responses, remaining unbothered and continuing in a relaxed way creates a more comfortable dynamic. If they ask why you approached them, a simple and direct response like, "You caught my attention, so I wanted to say hi," is enough. Giving space for natural pauses, instead of rushing to fill silence, can help create a more engaging interaction. Another key factor in mindset is having a sense of abundance. People who struggle with social interactions often focus too much on one person, which can add pressure to the situation. When you understand that every interaction is just one of many potential connections, it naturally allows you to relax. This ease and confidence are noticeable. Someone who isn't overly concerned about another person's level of interest often becomes more intriguing. This mindset also helps in handling situations where interest isn't reciprocated. If someone isn't interested, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's simply a matter of personal preference. People with confidence understand this and don't let it affect them. Being able to walk away from an interaction without stress projects self-assurance. And ironically, this is often what makes others more curious. Ultimately, attraction isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about the energy you bring into a conversation. When you cultivate a mindset of self-assurance, you naturally draw others in. Instead of focusing on whether someone likes you, you create a dynamic where both sides get to see if there's a genuine connection. This simple shift in mindset makes all the difference. 2. Many people approach social interactions with unnecessary pressure, overthinking their words, hesitating, or carrying nervous energy that shifts the balance of the conversation. This often makes the other person feel like they're being placed on a pedestal, which can create discomfort or disinterest. First impressions are shaped more by body language and tone than by the actual words used. A confident, relaxed presence is what makes someone stand out from the start. Walking with purpose, maintaining good posture, and making natural eye contact before speaking help set the right tone. If someone notices you before you even say anything, that's often a positive sign. It means they're already aware of your presence, which can naturally build curiosity. Confidence is about clarity and ease, not about trying too hard. Hesitation can sometimes signal uncertainty, which might make the interaction feel awkward. Keeping things simple and direct allows for a more natural flow. A straightforward opening line such as, "You seemed interesting, so I wanted to come say hi," is often enough. There's no need for rehearsed phrases or complex conversation starters. What matters is the delivery. A calm and controlled tone, rather than rushing or speaking too loudly, conveys self-assurance. People naturally respond to someone who speaks as if they are comfortable in their own presence. After saying something, allowing a moment of pause, rather than immediately filling the silence, gives space for a natural response. Many people make the mistake of talking too much due to a fear of quiet moments, but well-placed pauses create a sense of engagement and attentiveness. If the initial response is short or neutral, staying composed is key. Instead of reacting nervously or trying harder to fill the space, maintaining a confident and easygoing attitude allows the conversation to develop at its own pace. Playful statements or observations can help move the conversation forward. For example, instead of asking predictable questions like, "What are you doing here?" a more engaging comment such as, "You seem like you have a too cool for this place vibe. Am I right?" invites a more dynamic response. Conversations flow better when they feel natural rather than structured like an interview. Instead of asking a series of back-to-back questions, making thoughtful or light-hearted observations creates a back-and-forth dynamic that keeps both people involved. Another important factor is knowing when to end the conversation on a positive note. Rather than lingering too long, wrapping things up confidently helps maintain intrigue. Saying something like, "I have to get back to my friends, but let's continue this conversation later. What's the best way to reach you?" keeps the interaction light and open-ended without putting pressure on the other person. The key to a great first impression isn't about saying the perfect thing. It's about creating an interaction that feels natural, effortless, and engaging. 3. Building interest and maintaining engagement in a conversation isn't about filling the time with endless small talk. It's about creating a dynamic interaction that sparks curiosity and keeps things interesting without forcing a connection. Many people make the mistake of talking too much about themselves or relying on predictable questions, which can make the conversation feel routine. Since engaging interactions stand out, the key is to keep things light, playful, and naturally intriguing. One common mistake is focusing too much on listing personal achievements or trying too hard to demonstrate value. Instead of assuming someone needs to be convinced of your worth, it's more effective to let them discover it naturally. If a conversation is approached with the mindset that the other person should be proving themselves as well, it shifts the dynamic into one that feels mutual and balanced. For example, if someone asks about your job, instead of immediately providing a straightforward answer, a playful response like, "That's classified information, I could tell you, but then I'd have to disappear," can keep the conversation lighthearted. When someone is drawn into the conversation out of curiosity rather than being handed a list of facts, they become more engaged. Another key element in keeping someone interested is making conversations more emotionally engaging rather than purely logical. Instead of asking, "Where are you from?" try something like, "You don't seem like you're from around here. You have this mysterious traveler vibe. Am I close?" This small shift makes the interaction feel more spontaneous and invites a more engaging response. Conversations that create moments of lighthearted tension, where there's a playful back and forth instead of a one-sided effort, tend to be more memorable. A great way to do this is by balancing compliments with playful teasing. If someone says something interesting, responding with, "All right, you might be cooler than I thought. I wasn't sure at first," keeps the conversation fun and unpredictable. Another technique is playful misinterpretation, taking what someone says and giving it a humorous twist. If they mention a love for travel, responding with, "Oh, so you're one of those people who books trips just for the perfect social media pictures," can make the conversation more entertaining. The goal isn't to put anyone on the spot, but to keep the energy lively. When someone associates a conversation with fun and laughter, they're more likely to stay engaged. Perhaps the most important aspect of maintaining intrigue is knowing when to end the conversation. Many people make the mistake of continuing to talk too long when things are going well, thinking they need to reinforce the connection. However, leaving on a high note is actually more effective. If the conversation is flowing and both people are enjoying it, that's the perfect time to wrap it up. Saying something like, "All right, you're interesting. We should continue this later. What's the best way to reach you?" leaves a positive impression without overstaying the interaction. Keeping someone engaged isn't about constantly trying to impress. It's about making the conversation feel effortless and enjoyable. When the dynamic is balanced, the interaction becomes more meaningful and leaves both people looking forward to the next conversation. 4. Attraction isn't just about having a great conversation. It's about creating a connection that feels exciting and engaging. People aren't drawn to others based solely on logic. They connect through emotion and presence. A common mistake is keeping interactions too neutral or overly friendly, hoping interest will develop naturally. But real chemistry happens when there's a sense of anticipation and curiosity. One of the most effective ways to create this connection is through eye contact and body language. How someone looks at another person can completely shift the tone of an interaction. Many people either avoid eye contact too often, signaling nervousness, or hold it too long, which can feel intense. The key is striking a balance, maintaining confident eye contact while allowing natural moments of pause. A subtle glance before returning to direct eye contact can create a sense of engagement without saying a word. Physical proximity also plays a role. Starting at a comfortable distance and gradually moving slightly closer as the conversation flows can help create a natural sense of connection. If the other person doesn't pull away, that's usually a sign of comfort and interest. Rather than waiting for the other person to close the distance, guiding the interaction with confidence makes the moment feel more organic. Another important aspect of chemistry is the right kind of touch, subtle and natural rather than forced. Some people make the mistake of keeping things too formal, while others misread the situation and move too quickly. The best approach is to keep things light and gradual. If a moment feels right, like during a shared laugh, a brief touch on the arm can make the interaction feel more personal. Small, natural gestures, like a light touch on the back when leading through a crowded space, help build a sense of ease. The key is to always be aware of the other person's comfort level. If they start initiating touch as well, it's often a strong indicator of mutual interest. Tone of voice also plays a major role in how an interaction feels. Instead of speaking too quickly or with too much energy, slowing down and lowering the tone slightly can make words feel more intentional. When playfully responding to something, a subtle shift in tone, like slowing down for emphasis, can make the moment feel more engaging. A simple, confident response with the right delivery can have more impact than any scripted line. Finally, one of the most effective ways to maintain interest is by allowing anticipation to build rather than rushing the interaction. When moments of connection happen naturally, stepping back slightly and allowing the other person to lean in creates a sense of excitement. The most memorable interactions are the ones that leave people wanting more, not the ones that try to force a connection too quickly. Keeping things light, confident, and engaging makes the interaction feel effortless and leaves a lasting impression. 5. People are naturally drawn to those who bring excitement and unpredictability into their lives. When interactions feel fresh, engaging, and a little uncertain, they become more intriguing. If someone always reacts the same way, it becomes easy to predict their responses, which can reduce interest over time. The key is to maintain a sense of spontaneity, creating moments that keep conversations engaging and dynamic. One common mistake is being too predictable. If someone always agrees, laughs at everything, or gives non-stop compliments, they might come across as too easy to figure out. A balance of warmth and playfulness creates more engaging interactions. For example, instead of automatically praising someone, adding a bit of playful teasing can make conversations more lively. If someone talks about an accomplishment, instead of instantly expressing admiration, a light-hearted response like, "Is that your best move? You'll have to impress me more than that," adds a fun challenge. It keeps the conversation dynamic and encourages the other person to stay engaged. A great way to keep interactions interesting is by balancing moments of interest with a bit of playful detachment. Giving genuine compliments or showing appreciation is important, but adding a little challenge makes conversations more stimulating. For example, if someone laughs at a joke, instead of just smiling, a playful response like, "You have a great laugh, but don't get too confident, I'm not that easily impressed," adds some intrigue. It keeps interactions light and engaging. Another way to keep things fresh is by shifting energy and tone. People connect through emotion, not just logic, so changing between humor, depth, and curiosity makes conversations more compelling. For example, starting with a confident, light-hearted tone and then transitioning into a more thoughtful comment like, "You know, you're actually more interesting than I expected," keeps interactions unpredictable. These shifts create a sense of excitement and make conversations more memorable. At the end of the day, the most captivating interactions are those that bring out different emotions: laughter, curiosity, surprise, and intrigue. When conversations feel dynamic and unexpected, they leave a lasting impression. The key is to create an experience that feels exciting, keeping interactions engaging and leaving people wanting to continue the conversation. 6. Confidence and leadership naturally make a person stand out. People are often drawn to those who take initiative, make decisions without hesitation, and create a sense of direction in interactions. This isn't about control. It's about self-assurance and the ability to guide conversations and experiences in a way that feels natural and engaging. One common mistake is constantly seeking approval before making a move. Asking for permission for every little thing can sometimes come across as uncertain. Instead of hesitating, a more confident approach is to assume the answer will be positive. For example, instead of asking, "Can I sit here?" a more engaging approach might be, "Looks like this is the best seat in the house. I'll take it." The difference is in the delivery. A self-assured attitude naturally draws people in. Taking control of a conversation is another way to show confidence. Instead of giving predictable responses, steering the discussion in a more engaging direction keeps things interesting. If someone asks, "What do you do for work?" a creative response like, "I could tell you, but then I'd have to make you sign a secret agreement. But let's talk about something more fun. What's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done?" shifts the energy in an exciting way. Keeping conversations dynamic and full of surprises creates a more engaging experience. Decision-making is another key trait that signals confidence. If someone asks, "Where do you want to eat?" instead of responding with uncertainty, a firm but friendly answer like, "Let's get sushi, you'll love it," makes the decision-making process smoother. Being able to make choices without hesitation creates a sense of ease in interactions. Confidence also means standing by one's values and personality without feeling the need to shrink or change for others. If someone challenges or playfully tests a confident person, staying composed and responding with a relaxed attitude keeps interactions positive. A strong presence isn't about overpowering. It's about creating an environment where people feel both excited and comfortable. At the end of the day, leadership, confidence, and decisiveness are qualities that naturally attract attention and respect. When someone carries themselves with self-assurance, it creates an engaging and memorable presence in any interaction. 7. In any interaction, people naturally value what they have to work for. If something is given too easily, it may not feel as rewarding. Instead of constantly seeking validation, shifting the dynamic can make interactions more balanced and engaging. One common mistake is treating someone as if they are more important than they actually are, leading to a shift in energy where one person is overly accommodating. The best approach is to maintain a sense of self-worth and not feel the need to prove anything. Instead of trying too hard, keeping a light-hearted and playful approach makes interactions more natural. Saying things like, "You seem interesting, but I'm still figuring you out," or "You have a cool vibe, but I can't tell if you're the type who keeps things fun or likes a little chaos," adds an element of intrigue. This allows both people to get to know each other on equal footing. Being too available can sometimes take away from the excitement of an interaction. When someone always responds instantly or is constantly available, it may not create the same level of anticipation. Instead, maintaining personal time and space naturally builds interest. A simple shift in response can make a difference, rather than replying with, "I'm not doing much, what about you?" A more engaging response could be, "Got a few things planned, but maybe I'll make some time for you later." This subtly reinforces that your time is valuable. Keeping interactions dynamic is another way to maintain interest. If every interaction follows the same pattern, it can become predictable. Alternating between being warm and engaging while also having moments of independence keeps things fresh. For example, after an enjoyable conversation, taking time before responding again can make interactions feel more meaningful. If someone asks why you were quiet for a bit, a fun response like, "Oh, I was just caught up in life, missed me?" adds a playful element while keeping the energy balanced. Lastly, allowing things to develop naturally instead of rushing into defining everything too soon can keep interactions enjoyable. If someone asks, "So what are we?" responding with, "Let's just enjoy the moment and see where it goes," keeps the focus on the experience rather than creating unnecessary pressure. The key to any engaging interaction is maintaining a sense of self-confidence, keeping things interesting, and allowing connections to build over time rather than forcing them too quickly. When both people invest equally, the connection becomes more rewarding and enjoyable. Building strong connections is about maintaining confidence, being authentic, and allowing interactions to develop naturally. By leading conversations, keeping things dynamic, and creating engaging moments, you create a sense of mutual interest and excitement. Instead of focusing on chasing, value your time and presence, allowing connections to grow organically. A balance of availability, playfulness, and unpredictability keeps interactions fresh and engaging. If you're interested in improving your communication and relationships, my community is now open. Many have requested this, and it's finally here. The first 20 to join will receive an exclusive discount. Check the link in the description for more details. Appreciate your support, and I'll see you in the next video.